My name is Sonia Sanchez, and I live in a place called Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. You know, my dear sister, having to work all my life and then also having children, having to hold down a job, I wrote eventually, I mean, for so many years after I had come home from school, cook for the children, check their homework, run downstairs in the basement to wash the clothes, take out food for the next day, and then grade papers. And then at about 12:30 at night or in the morning, I would go in to my study and write until 3:30 a.m. in the morning. And then I would get right in bed and sleep until about 6:30. To this day, I have to tell myself that I'm not teaching now, and so I can really work during the day. I don't have to work from 11 o'clock until 4 o'clock in the morning, or from 12:30 to 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, right? But my body is so attuned to it. You know, your body has memory, and my body remembers. That's when you got your creative work done, so it pops awake at 11 o'clock at night and says, okay, work. I came into writing my poetry as a little girl, but I came into it truly during the Black Arts Movement, BAM. And I was blessed to have people who were talking about looking at life and change. I met people like Queen Mother Moore. I met people like Jean Hudson, the curator at the Schomburg Library. I met people like Martin and Malcolm. They were using poetry and prose and plays as a way to affect change, to change how people thought in terms of their lives, how they looked at the world. I wanted very much to say, this is what I think, this is what I know. I will now give it to you. I want you to read it, and I want you to see that it is possible to walk upright as human beings on this earth. You know, it is possible to answer the most important question that we must answer in our lifetime, and that is, what does it mean to be human? We began that dialogue in the 60s, and that dialogue continues into the 21st century. A young 17-year-old Puerto Rican sister said to me, Professor Sanchez, can you tell me what it is you did when you were 17 years of age and you lived in Harlem? How did you survive? It's a very potent, relevant question. And I said to her, well, my dear sister, some of the stuff might seem corny, but I went and sat down on the stage and I began to tell her some of the things that I did. I finished that, and the students clapped, and I had started down the steps off the stage, and I stopped. And I came back, and I had my eyes closed, and I remember as I walked towards the stage, one of the students said, be careful, and I opened my eyes. I said, you know, I am not just going to ask you to survive, I am going to demand that you survive. I said, I'm going to have what I call a contract with life. This just came out of me from no place. I said, I'm going to do a contract with life with you. Not death, but with life. It means 1 year from today, I will return here to Medgar Evers, and we will talk about how we had a contract with life and not death, how we survived. At the time that I got the Leeway grant, I was retired from teaching, which meant that a substantial amount of income was gone. I was trying to cut back on some of my travel so I could just take some time and finish a book that I was working on. And when you travel a lot, you know, it's good to do all that important work out there, you know, doing cross-generational kinds of things that I was doing too. So I just wanted to sit still for a minute. So the Leeway, my dear sister, Transformation Award gave me a breath. You know, I was able to like sit on my porch and look at my flowers, you know, go out and plant some more. I was able to actually work during the day and not do that very furtive kind of writing that you do late at night sometimes. So it did help me it brought a normalcy to my life of not moving around so much. What's so important for all of us is that to know simply that we do this work, but it's connected to organizations, it's connected to schools, it's connected to other countries also too. is connected to groups, that this is not something that we do just at a desk by writing a play or writing a story or writing a poem. It's connected to people who are doing other kinds of work. So what I try to do, every place I go, I try to, with organizations, I try to impact the organization and make for change. So many people want to say, well, I have what I have, and that's good. And I don't have to share it with anyone. I don't have to look out for other people. I can move in my own arena of greed. And we've said simply, you can't do that anymore. The earth will not support this kind of greed anymore. The earth will not support you polluting not only the oceans, the seas, the atmosphere, cutting down trees on this earth, polluting the minds and bodies of our children in some of these schools, in some of these places, in some of these cities, that we insist that finally people began to look at themselves and say simply, I am going to use this body and this mind and these words and my camera and my paintings and my work and my song and my stories to say to people, no longer will the earth support this kind of greed, this kind of exploitation. It is time for us to move and walk upright as human beings.